Hi developers, welcome back to our Laravel plus Google Drive series. In part 1, we learned how to connect Laravel to Google Drive and upload files instantly. We set up API credentials, configured the storage, and uploaded files directly from our Laravel 12 application to Google Drive. If you have not watched first part yet, I highly recommend checking it out first. I will link it in the description below. Now in the second part, we are taking it to the next level and we will store uploaded files metadata in a database. Then we will display those uploaded files. Further, we will manage folders and even we will work on actions like view, download and delete. And these all will be managed from Laravel 12 application itself. So by the end of this video, you will have a fully functional file management system integrated with Google Drive in Laravel 12, and this will be ready for real-world applications. But if you are new to the Programming Fields channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss the next episodes where we make this integration even more powerful. So let's dive in. And here we have this application that we built in last episode. Okay. Here we created this file upload form, and from here we are uploading files to the Google Drive. Now I will jump to the code editor and I will show you the functionality. So here we have this Google Drive controller. Inside this we have index function in which we have rendered that file upload view. And this is the file upload view in which we have a form. Okay. And this is submitting to upload file route. And this route is linked to this function. So request is coming here, and from here we extracted the file and further we uploaded this to Google Drive. And this disk configuration is already added in this config file systems, and here we have this Google disk. Okay. And these all credentials are coming from .env file. Here we added these credentials. Now next we will create a model and migration in order to store the file metadata after uploading it to the Google Drive. So currently, after uploading the file, we are not saving that file metadata into the database, right? So here we have to implement that functionality. So firstly, we need a model and migration. So let's create it. So I will jump to the terminal and here I will create a model and migration. So I will type PHP addition make model and I will give a name as drive file. Okay. And further I will specify -m flag for migration. So yes, the model and migration have been created. Now let's quickly jump to this migration inside database migrations, and here we have this drive files. Now inside this, I will add a few columns. Now, in order to create the schema in this migration, firstly, we have to understand what values should be stored in this table. So for that, we have to get the property from Google Drive of that uploaded file. So what I will do from here, after uploading the file, I will get the file data. So for getting the file information or data from Google Drive, I will use G Drive facade provided by Yajaputtu library. Okay. So here in this documentation, we have some functions inbuilt. Okay. So we will be using these functions. If we'll scroll to top, here we used storage facade in order to store the file, but this Yajaputtu have created some predefined functions by using the core functionality. So we can use this facade. Okay. This is G Drive. And if we'll dig deeper into this functionality, like how is it working behind the scene? So let's navigate to the code editor back and let's navigate inside vendor. And if we'll scroll down, here we have this Yaja folder. Let's expand. And inside this, we have this Laravel Google Drive storage. That is the package name we installed, right? Inside this, we have src, which is source folder. So let's go inside this source. And here we have this facades. let's expand this facades. We have this Laravel Google Drive storage. And inside this, we have this facade accessor. And this is registering this Laravel Google Drive storage service provider. And this service provider is basically here, this is defined as Laravel Google Drive storage. And behind the scene, this is calling this gdrive.php file. And here we have all the functions defined just like get function. This is for fetching the file information from Google Drive. This is for read stream. So if you want to read file data from Google Drive by streaming it, you can use this function. Further, we have this put function. This put function is basically for storing the file. Okay. And if you'll notice here inside this function, this has used a storage disk Google, and further this has used this put function. Okay. And this disk Google is basically configured in the config file system. So internally, this is using storage facade for uploading the file to the Google Drive, right? Next, we have this get file info function. If you want to get information of uploaded file, you can use this function. Next, we have this delete function so that we can delete the file from local and even from the Google Drive. Next, we have this make directory, delete directory, rename directory, and this is for all. So this all function is basically for fetching all the uploaded files from Google Drive. And these all functions have been mentioned in this documentation as well. So if we'll check out, here we have the uses. Inside this usage, we have this put file. So currently we used a storage facade directly for uploading the file to the Google Drive, right? If I will show you the controller, inside Google Drive controller, we used a storage which is Laravel approach, right? But Yajaputu provides the facade, and internally behind the scenes, they have written some predefined functions, and somehow internally they are using this storage facade which is Laravel approach, right? So let's jump back to the documentation. And here next we have this put file function that we already saw in that facade. So we can use this function even. So in order to use these functions, we have to import this facade, which is G drive, right? Next we have this get file. So if you want to get the single file by passing the path or file name, you can use this function. Now if you scroll down here at the bottom, we have all function. So this all function will be basically for fetching all the uploaded files from the Google Drive, and that we already saw here in this G drive class, right? Here we have all function. So internally this is fetching all the file from Google Drive and converting the result into the collection. And from here this is returning that collection. So after uploading the file, I will be calling that all function in order to fetch the file. So what I will do, I will use G drive facade here, and this G drive facade has been imported from this Yaja Laravel Google Drive storage. From here, I will call this all function, and inside this function, we will have to pass one parameter. So if we'll check out the documentation, here we have the first parameter as slash. So this slash specifies the root folder of the Google Drive. Okay, so this will fetch all the uploaded files from the Google Drive. But if you want to fetch uploaded file specifically from a folder, then you can specify that folder name just like this. Okay, so as of now, I want to fetch all the uploaded files. Okay, so I will use this slash. And also if we'll check out this class, here we have this path in the first parameter. Okay, so let's pass this parameter here as slash. This is done. And also for storing the file, I will use that facade. So firstly, I will comment this line because we have used that Laravel approach. Now I will use that G drive put function. Okay. So it is not mandatory like you can use G drive put function. Even that storage facade will work because we already saw that behind the scene, this G drive put function is using the same storage put function, right? So let's copy this and I will paste it here. So here I will paste it. Okay. Now I will pass the correct file name from here. And instead of this request file, I will pass this $file because I have already extracted that here. Now after uploading the file, I will fetch all the files and I will store that in a variable. So I will store this in a variable as $response. Now I will jump to the browser. I will refresh this application and I will select a new image to upload into the Google Drive. So I will select this Laravel Google Drive. I will click on upload and this is uploading the file. And yes, the file has been uploaded and this has returned all the uploaded files because we fetched all the files, right? If I will expand it, here we have the array of collections, right? And this is the last image that we uploaded now. Now here in this array, if we'll check out, we have the following property of the file which are returning from Google Drive. So we have type as file, path, file size, visibility as private, last modified date timestamp. This is a MIME type and we have extra metadata. If we'll expand this array, here we have the unique ID of every uploaded file in the Google Drive. Next we have this file name, virtual path, display path, file name, and this is extension. So based on these properties, we have to create the schema in the migration. So let's jump to the migration now and I will create the column. So firstly, I will store the name because here we have this name, right? Which is coming inside extra metadata. So we will have to extract the name property from this extra metadata so that I will show you. Firstly, let's continue with this column creation. I will set this to nullable. Next, I will store file name, which is again coming inside extra metadata. Okay. Also, I will store the extension. We are getting the file extension here. Next, I will store path. We have this path here, this one. So we will be using this path for file view or download. Also, I will store MIME type. Next, I will store file size. Here we are getting the file size, right? So this will be file size. Next, we have the visibility. Okay, so let's store this visibility as well. Also, we have this last modified date, which is coming in the timestamp. So we'll store last modified. And the most important, we have to store this unique file uploaded ID from Google Drive. So here, just before this name, I will store that. This will be string and I will give the column name as drive file ID. Okay, this is done. So this is unique ID basically, and we will be using this drive file ID, basically this ID for performing all the operations like view, download and delete. Okay. Now respectively, let's add the fillable property in the model. So I will jump to the app models, drive file, and quickly I will copy this column name here. So in the fillable property, I will add those columns. Drive file ID, we have this name, further we have file name, and next we have extension, path, we will have this file size. Okay. And next we have this MIME type, file size, visibility, and last modified. Okay. Now let's jump to the terminal and let's migrate the schema using PHP artisan migrate command. And yes, the schema has been migrated into the database. Now let's continue to store the file metadata into that table. So I will jump to the controller again. So here we have fetched all the uploaded files and we are getting the response in the form of collection, right? And inside the collection, we have the array. So we can apply the where condition in order to filter the file, right? So here we have this file name. Now based on this file name, we can filter that particular file. So what I will do here, from this response, I will use first where function and I will filter it from path. So if you'll check out, here we have this path, which is original file name basically, okay? And that we are generating here as a file name because we are uploading the file with this original name. But if you want, you can change this file name by adding the timestamp or any hash name. So that depends on you. So now inside this first where, I will filter file path using this file name. This is done. Now I will capture this in a variable. So I will use the same variable as response. And here better I will use contents because we are getting file contents. So that will be meaningful. And here this is single content, or we can change this to uploaded content. Now next I will check if we have this uploaded content, then we have to extract the ID, this ID. And this is coming inside extra metadata. So for getting that, I will use uploaded content extra metadata function. Now I will put dump and die in order to say, are we getting that metadata information? I will reload this because I have already selected that file for uploading, right? So if we'll continue, it will try re-uploading the same file and there we will get the metadata information. So let's wait for a moment. Again, it is uploading the same chosen file and further, yeah, we got the metadata information as ID, name, virtual path, and these all. So we have to extract the ID and this ID is coming in the form of array because we have used metadata function here, right? So from this extra metadata, I will extract the ID and I will use null call-seek operator if it is empty. And let's capture this in a variable as Google Drive ID. Now based on this Google Drive ID, I will check into the table. If that Google Drive ID exists, then we don't have to store that file metadata, right? Because we want to store the duplicate data. So for that, I will use Laravel eloquent update or create function. And we have the model as drive file, : will use update or create method. Now this function will take primary key. So we have the unique field identified as drive file ID. So I will use this field here because we are getting this Google Drive ID from file and I will get it from this Google Drive ID. And we'll have to close this array here just like this. Now next, we have to form one array that we want to create or update based on this drive file ID. So based on the columns, we have to store these following fields. So let's copy these fields. Let's navigate to the controller. And here we have to create the array. So for the name, we have to get the name from this meta information itself. So here, instead of fetching the ID directly, I will create another variable, or better, I will change this to file meta. Okay. And I will remove this ID from here. This will be empty array. Now here I will get the ID from this file meta ID, just like this. Okay. So that for other fields, we can extract those values from this file meta array itself. So I will use this file meta, and we have to get this name. Okay. So we'll have to pass in the code. Next we have file name. So again, we'll use file meta. We have this file name. Further, we have extension. Again, we'll get it from file meta. Extension. Next, we have this path. So this path, we will get it from this main object because we have extracted the meta information here. But before meta, we were getting the other data in the main object. So I will extract file content, and that we were getting in the form of object as path, right? Further, we will get the MIME type. So again, the MIME type was available on the main object, uploaded content, and we had MIME type. So better I will put dump and die again in order to check the value. Uploaded content, and also I will dump this metadata here. Now I will just reload this. And yes, we received the data. So let's capture this file size. Just like this, uploaded content, and we have this file size object. Further, we have this visibility. Uploaded file content, visibility, and we have this last modified. So for this last modified, we are getting this in the timestamp. So we will have to convert this into the date format in order to store into the database. So for that, I will use carbon, and I will import that. From this carbon, I will use create from timestamp. We have the function as create from timestamp. Now inside this timestamp function, I will pass this uploaded content last modified. So this is done. Now if we'll come to the browser first, and if we'll check, here we are getting the value in the form of file attributes. So from this file attributes, we want to be able to extract these keys in the normal object form. So we will have to use the function basically, just like this. Okay. And also for this last modified. All right, this is done. Now let's comment this dump and die, and I will go back to the browser and I will reload this page. And this is uploading and fetching the file. And yes, the file has been uploaded. Now if we'll navigate to the database, so I will go inside database. Here we have this database.sqlite. I will search for this drive files table. And yes, here we have one entry as this is drive file ID. We have the name, file name, extension, path, MIME type, file size, visibility, and this last modified date. So all the columns data have been saved successfully. Now if we'll navigate to the browser, and if we'll check out the Google Drive, yes, here we have this file uploaded. Now after uploading the file, I will return the response back to the same page, and just below this form, I will create one tabular layout, and there I will display all the uploaded files. So let's go back to the code editor. Now in the controller, after uploading the file, here I will return back with success, and I will give a message as file uploaded and saved into the database successfully. Now let's navigate back to this file upload view, and just above this heading, here I will create one div for capturing the flash message. So I will set bg green 400, text green 700. Now inside this div, I will get the session flash message. So I will check if session has success, then only this should appear. And inside this, I will extract the session using session get function. So this is done. Now after this form, just below this, I want to create one table. So here we have this form. Let me collapse this, and just above this form, I will create one div. This will be for form wrapper basically, and I will give a space y as 6. Now I will close this div here, and just below this form, I will create this table. So already I have a table layout ready. So I will quickly paste that here. Okay, I have pasted this table layout. Here we have this div. Further we have this headline. Next we have this t head, and we have this th, which is table column. And I have used Tailwind CSS again. We have this file name, size, and this is uploaded at, and lastly I have added this actions column. Now inside this t body, we have to render the data. Okay. Now if we'll navigate to the browser, and if we'll go back and let's refresh this page, and yes, here we have this layout ready. Now I will increase this width of this card. So here I will change this max width property to 3XL. And yes, this has expanded. Now next we have to fetch all the files and display it here. So I will jump to the controller back. And here we already have this index function, right? Now for fetching the files, firstly we have to fetch all the data which are stored into the database. Then belonging to this drive file ID, I will fetch those all files from Google Drive. So let's get it using this model as drive file, and I will use all function. Okay, and let's capture this in a variable as $files, and here in the compact I will pass to the view as files. Now let's jump to this file upload view again, and here in this t body I will iterate the file as $files as $file. Next I will create one tr, and inside this we have to create td. So in the td, firstly as per this file name, we have to display the file name, and we have the field as file name. Okay, so I will display $file file name. Okay, next we have size. So for the file we have the size column, but again the size is in the numeric format. If we'll check out, here we have size in the integer numeric value. So we will have to convert this in the KB. So I will use number format function. Now inside this number format function, I will divide this from 1024, which is KB basically, and I will set this to precision, and this will be converted into the KB. Now next I will display the extension as well. So I will create one more column. This will be file type, and here I will create one more TD, and I will display the file extension. Further, we have this uploaded at, which is modified date basically. So I will display that last modified date, and we have the field as last modified. Okay. So this is done. And lastly, we have the actions column. So in the action, I will add view, download and delete. Now firstly, I will style the TD. So in every TD, I will pass some classes. So I will select in the bulk, and I will use class, and I will pass the class just like border. I will set the padding X as 4 and padding Y of 2. This is done. Now let's navigate to the browser. And yes, this data has been rendered, but I think we have some field mismatched. So this will be file name, I think, here in the column. Yeah, we have this file name without underscore. And regarding this file size, we have the field as file underscore size. Now if we refresh, yes, all the columns have been populated properly. Now in the action, I will use view, download and delete. So I will use href, okay. And firstly, I will remove these borders. These are not needed here. Perfect. And in the action, I will use view, download and delete. Also, I will pass few classes just like bg sky 500, text white, and for this download, I will use bg green 500, text white, and for this delete, I will use bg red 500, text white. If we'll check out, yeah, and also we'll have to add some padding, just like padding X of 2 and Y of 1. Let's copy these all and paste it for others. And here in this TD, I will use flags, items center, and also will add some margin from this button as margin X of 2. And also will add rounded. Okay. So this is done. Now let's work on view, download and delete functionality. So firstly, we'll start from view. So by clicking on view, we have to redirect this user to this Google Drive file preview. So if we'll check out here, if we'll double click on any of the file, just like if it is image, if I will double click on this, here we have this preview, right? Also, if we'll click on this 3 dots, we can open this in the new tab. So this is basically file preview. So we have to redirect to this file preview in the view mode. So for that, we will have to keep this base URL. Okay. And I will add it here in the href. And after this file /d, we have this unique file ID that we have stored into the database. So this we have to pass it dynamically based on this file. And here we have this drive file ID. So let's pass drive file ID. And after this drive file ID, we have /view. So I will concat here. And I will open this in the new tab. So I will set target as blank. Now if we'll navigate to the browser, if we'll refresh this application, let's click on view. And yes, we have successfully redirected on image preview in this Google Drive, which is in the view mode. Okay, so this is working. Now next we will work on download functionality. So when we'll click on this download button, this image should be downloaded. And for this Yajaputtu has given one function to download the file from Google Drive. So if we'll check out, here we have this download file. So for this, we will have to create one function. So let's copy this line and let's navigate to the code editor. Now inside this controller, here I will create one function as download file. Now I will paste those lines. And firstly, we have to get the file name that we want to download. So in order to get the file name dynamically, in this function, we will have to get the file ID, and based on the file ID, we will fetch the file path from this database. Okay. So let's receive the ID here. Now we will find the file based on this ID from this model. So we have drive file model, and I will use find function. Okay. Now here I will pass this ID, and I will capture this response in a variable as drive file, or better we can use find or fail function. Now from this drive file object, I will get the file path. Okay. So in the database, we have this file name and also this name, but I will be using this path. Okay. So let's pass this path here, drive file path, and we have the column as path. Okay. Now from here, this will return this response, and we have this content type as whatever we have this extension, and this will be downloaded. Now let's copy this function name and let's navigate to the web.php route. So inside routes, web.php, let's create one route as route : get function, and I will create one route as drive download, and we'll have to capture the ID dynamically, and this will be calling this download file. Let's set the name just like drive.download. Now let's copy this route name. Let's navigate to this file upload listing, and here in this download, I will pass route drive.download, and I will pass this file ID here. Okay, this is done. Now let's navigate to the browser. Let's refresh this application, and let's click on this download button. And yes, this file has been downloaded successfully. If we'll try opening this file, yeah, this file has been opened now. So we have implemented the view and download functionality successfully. Now let's work on this delete functionality. So when we'll click on delete, we will have to delete this file path from Google Drive, and also this entry should be deleted from this database. Okay. So let's trigger one more route here as a route drive.delete, and I will pass the same file ID here. As of now, I'm going to use get request for this. If you want, you can use delete request for this, okay? So that depends on you. Now I will go back to this web.php, and here I will create one more route as drive delete, and this will be delete file, and let's change this route name as drive.delete. Now let's copy this function name, and just below this I will create delete file, and in the same way I will receive parameter as id. This is for delete file, and for deleting the file, again this yajaputtu has given the function. So if we'll scroll down, here we have this Google Drive delete, okay? So let's pass this Google Drive delete function, and here again we have to pass the file name. So for that, firstly we'll have to find the file, okay? And I will pass this drive file name here, drive file, and this will be path. So this will delete this file, and after deleting this I will return back to the same page with success, file deleted successfully. And after deleting it from Google Drive, we will have to delete it from database as well, just like this. So this is for download file, okay? Now let's navigate to the browser. Let's refresh this application again, and let's try clicking on delete. And this is deleting the file. Let's wait for a moment. And yes, the file has been deleted successfully. But we have not received any flash message here, so that we will have to check it. Firstly, let's verify in the database.sqlite. And yes, we can see that entry has been deleted. And also if we'll verify into the Google Drive, yes, that file has been deleted from here. Now let's check for that flash message. So I will go back to the code editor, and in the file upload blade, here we used session flash, okay? Instead of message, we will have to pass the key as success. So now we will be receiving that flash message here. So now let's try uploading one more file, and this time I will upload this deploy on AWS PNG image. I'll click on upload, and yes, the file has been uploaded, and we received this success message as well. But this message is coming here, so again we have some design issue. So I'm not going to focus on that design part, okay? Now if we'll check for view, yes, the view functionality is working. If we'll click on download, this is downloading the file from Google Drive, and yes, that is downloaded. Okay, this is done. Now for the best practices, you will have to put file validation here just before uploading to the Google Drive. Currently, we have not added that, all right? So that you can add it by yourself. And also you can use DB transactions if needed in order to sync the file from local database to Google Drive. And that's a wrap for episode 2. Today we learned how to store uploaded files in a database and also display them from Google Drive. Further, we added actions like view, download, and delete. Now in the next episode, we will take it a step further and we will make our integration fully production ready by implementing automatic token refresh functionality so that your uploads, downloads, and deletion never break even after the access token expires. Because in the last video, we already saw in the OAuth playground, we were generating one access token by exchanging this authorization token. So for every access token, there is some expiration time, okay? And this token will get expired in that particular time frame. So if you're working in local, then you will have to get this access token by clicking on this refresh access token again, okay? So once this token will get expire, you will have to refresh it, and again you will have to copy and paste it in .env file. So this is a manual work, but in the next episode, we will make this automatic so that you won't have to update it manually. Because when you will deploy the application on production, you won't have the access to update this manually, right? So if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe the channel, and comment below with any questions or features you want to see next. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.